Thank you for coming. Welcome. And so a couple of housekeeping items. If you have a phone, a cell phone, it's best to turn it off. If you don't have it off, put everything on mute on your cell phone, unless if you're using it for the class, but you know what I mean in terms of sounds. In terms of props, I have my eye pillow, which I've had in my bag for so long. And if you have either your eye pillow or a clean washcloth, dry washcloth, that could be used at the end of the session for Savasana to place over your eyes. That might be comforting for you, so I wanted to bring that to your attention. Of course, we have the blocks. If you have blocks, it helps sometimes with the practice. So have them near you. Don't have them so far away that you would need to get off the mat in order to reach them. And we may use the strap today. If you have a strap, again, have it nearby. You see I'm sitting on a cushion, and if that's available to you, that's something that allows a little extra lift in a seated position, but also in kneeling positions. It's something you might consider using to protect the knees, as well as your blanket or beach towel or bath towels. This helps also for cushioning the knees, but also at the end in Savasana to cover yourselves to stay nice and warm, because Savasana is your restorative pose. But keep your props to the side, and not too far from you. So I want to welcome you again for this time. And again, with all yoga practices, work at your own pace. Everyone feels differently depending on the day, depending on the time of day. So feel free to, I'm going to maximize my view here. Feel free to, beautiful, to adjust yourselves as necessary. And if you put me on speaker view, you should be able to see me as primary on the screen. I have my socks on, my sweater just as a starting point. Yoga is always done best with the socks off. So please feel free to remove your socks once we start to warm up, and you'll see my sweater peel off as well. Yoga, in this yoga class, no pain is gain. We're not pushing for pain. It's for strengthening, lengthening, flexibility, breath work. But if whatever part of the body doesn't feel right, if a pose doesn't feel right, please pull out of it. Very important. Okay, wonderful. So as we start, you can sit with your legs extended. You can sit in a wide angle pose or cobbler pose with your soles of the feet together, or you can even cross your legs. What's more important here is to make yourself comfortable. And again, I'm sitting on a cushion. You may, if you don't have a cushion and you have a block, you may choose to sit on a block. You may put both blocks under the sits bone. And it's to elevate the torso. I'll turn to the side slightly so you can see. So as you find yourself leaning forward, gently straighten upward. And in this position, as you can see, you're sitting up straight. You're not over-exaggerating the pose. Placing your hands onto your thighs. Your palms could be facing upward or downward. If it's upward, you're receiving energy. Downward, you're not pressing on the legs. You're just gently placing your hands. And that's to grounding energy. And if it's comfortable for you, close your eyes as we set our intention for the day, for our practice. Relaxing our facial muscles. Imagine your forehead Relax, no frowning. Breathing normally. And throughout the practice, suggest to breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. Hatha yoga. In through the nose and out through the nose. Normal breath now. Relaxing the jaws, the teeth. Still maintaining a nice long torso. Relaxing your shoulders. And from here, we're going to start doing some breath work. And as if you've taken my class before, we talk about the deep, wide breath. But let's gently inhale as we fill the lungs to the base of the lungs and slowly exhale. Inhale as you feel the front body expand gently with the lungs coming down to the tip of the rib cage, and slowly exhale. With the exhale, slightly longer than the inhale. Inhale again as you breathe in through the nostrils and feel the front body expand. And slowly exhale. And as you exhale, suck the gut in gently to expel all the air from the lungs. And the next time you inhale deeply, feel the front body and side body expand with the lungs pushing against the rib cage gently. And then slowly exhale. And with each exhale, you expel fully. Inhale again. Front body and side body, wide and deep. Slowly exhale. Slightly longer. Inhale, front body, side body, and the back body. Feel the rib cage open up in the back as well, and then slowly exhale. Feel the whole torso, front, side, and back. Contract, contract, contract. Inhale deep, front, back, and side, because we have three-dimensional lungs. And we slowly exhale. One more time. Three-dimensional inhale. And slowly exhale. And your last inhale at your own pace, full extension, full breath. And slowly exhale. And go back to normal breath. In through the nose and out through the nose. And gently open your eyes. And hopefully this has helped to relax the body. I even feel a little bit of heat generated from that breath work. Yes? So you see how your legs are crossed, or if they're extended, let's start to cross them in the opposite direction. And then let's inhale, upward salute with the arms coming up. Yes. And then bring the hands overhead in prayer hands and slowly bring the hands down to the heart center. With the hands still, fingers wide open, extend forward, inhale. And then bring it down, thumbs coming down across the forehead, down the nose to the lips, down to the heart. Inhale, extend up. Yes, fingers nice and wide open. Yes, and then we slowly exhale as we bring the thumb across the forehead, down the nose, mouth, heart. And then we extend again. Inhale up. See if your arms are parallel to your ears. And then we come down. Beautiful. As we exhale. We inhale again. Open those fingers nice and wide. Web fingers. Yes. Feel the shoulder blades come together in the back. And then we slowly come down. And then one last time, we extend, fingers nice and wide. Yes. Forward, up, beautiful. I like what I'm seeing. And then we come down gently. Beautiful. And then the hands are in front of your heart. Extend out, east-west arms, fingers nice and wide. Yes. And then as we expel, put it across your heart. We inhale, open nice and wide. Extend those fingers, extend those arms out. Yes. Feel the heart opening. Yes. And then we close slowly. We're warming up as we're opening up the upper body as well. Inhale, yes. East-west, beautiful. And then we exhale. We warm that up. And one last time, we inhale, east-west, fingers nice and wide. Extend those arms, yes. And then we close out. Beautiful. And let's place our hands onto our thighs. So if you're sitting on a block, you may want to move the block to the side and get onto the mat. Cross the legs in the opposite direction. Again, we're sitting in the sit bone. Let's lift the right arm up. As we lift that right arm up, we're going to bend over to the left side. But as we bend over, let's take a breath here. Feel that nice extension. And then we come back up. Inhale, the opposite arm. And then we exhale as we extend and stretch the left side. We come back up. And right arm comes up. Make sure those fingers are nice and wide as you bend over. The fingers, you're feeling the stretch all into the tip of the finger. And then we come back up. Inhale, and then we exhale. Feel the stretch from that hip bone, the left hip bone all the way up. And then we come back up. And then as we come back up, let's bring that left forearm onto the mat if it's available to you. So our elbow is bent, and then we come even further with that nice little stretch on the right side. And then we come back up. Yes, inhale, right forearm onto the mat, and then we extend beautifully. And then we come back up. Inhale, forearm bent. Feel that stretch. Yes, getting that right side, and then the opposite. Forearm down, and we come. Beautiful, folks. And then we come back to center. And let's cross the legs. Let's change them in the opposite direction. We're going to do some gentle twists, and let's extend the arms out forward. We're not leaning forward. We're still sitting up nice and tall. Turn to the right side. Your right hand comes gently behind you. Your left hand onto that right thigh. And then we come across, lift, and then we turn as we exhale to the opposite direction. And then we inhale, extend those arms and fingers, open up those fingers. As we exhale to the opposite side, we extend, and then we cross over, beautiful. And we feel our torso lifting as we do the crossover. Turn, we lift the torso, and then we, yes, hand on thigh, the other hand to the back. And then one last time, lift, suck that gut and feel that torso activated. Yes, beautiful. And then one last time, we extend, turn to the opposite side, and then come back to center. Nice. So are we warming up? Yes? Yes? And then let's work the shoulders. So with the shoulders, we're gonna roll nice and slowly. So as you can see, I'm still sitting up straight, but I'm lifting the shoulders up, bringing it back and bringing it down. We're taking our time with the shoulder roll because we want to release the tension, but give the muscles time to warm up. And so you can see your hands also moving as you move the shoulders back, nice. There's someone in a blue shirt. I like your shoulder rolls. I can't see the names, but I like it. Yes. Green shirt also. Beautiful. Beautiful. Let's go in the opposite direction. There are a couple of blue shirts there. Yes. Opposite direction. Open that up. Feel your heart open. Feel your shoulder blades come together to open up that heart. And then nice, nice. Okay, beautiful. And then from here, we might as well take our socks off now because we're going on to the knees. So again, with the knees, standing on your knees, you can either use your cushion or your blanket. I like to fold over my mat to give me cushion, but some like more cushion. It's up to you. And from here, again, hands nice and wide open. This also helps. Actually, let's stand on our knees. Let's stand on our knees, standing on our knees, and let's do our rotation of our fingers, as you remember. So it's not just the wrist. Make sure you take your time and feel each finger rolling. Yes, bend at the elbows. And so your forearm and upper arm at 90 degrees, and let's turn it in the opposite direction. Feel each digit. Focus on the fingers, folks. Nice. Yes. And this way we're really warming up these fingers to get us ready. Nice. Okay. So hands nice and wide, duck feet planted onto the mat. We're in tabletop. Tabletop, the back is flat, the hips over the knees, and then adjust your hands accordingly, fingers pointing forward. And we always like to get our toes warmed up. So let's bring our right foot back. So we're facing forward, our right foot is back, leg extended. Let's rotate those toes gently, slowly, as you feel each digit touching the floor. Suck that gut in gently. You're still breathing, and activate the core as you're doing this. Let's rotate in the opposite direction. Activate the core so you're not putting too. Now, if your wrist hurts, then put your hand in a fist to help you, and then come back to tabletop, and then extend the left leg out. Let's do our left toes rotation, because we're going to do some. I taught a class on Tuesday, and sometimes we get the downward dog in, sometimes we don't. I think we're going to do some dog work today. And then let's circle in the opposite direction. Either way, we want our toes ready. Okay, and so from here, let's open up our hands nice and wide. And let's do an undulation. Undulate is you bring your hands slightly forward, if you've not seen it, and this is really just swerving the hips slowly. So we're activating the hips, and it's a gentle, slow circle. So whichever direction you start, and as you're doing this, you find yourself slowly widening the circle. If this bothers your knees, do not do wide circles. And then as you open up the circles, you find yourself coming down further back, more to the left, and then you come forward more. So you're widening that circle, you're undulating like a wave, like an ocean motion. And you're pushing yourself back, extending the arms, moving in one side, moving forward, almost flat, and then to the opposite side. Nice. And when you come back, really feel that stretch in the upper body. It's almost like you're doing a child's pose. And the next time you come forward, let's go in the opposite direction. So whatever direction you're going in, you start slow circle again. Ocean. Start to widen that circle. Nice and slow. Nice. Fingers nice and wide. And then for your last round of circles, you come fully forward if it's available. Give yourself time to go to the left. Come all the way back. To the right. Forward. It's massaging your knees gently as well, as you awaken the entire body. And the next time you come back to center, let's go into a child's pose. Open the knees nice and wide. The toes come together, the big toes come together, and let's send the hips back. Your blocks may be near you. If you wish, take a block to place your forehead, the third eye chakra, onto the block and send those hips back. That's the most important part in child's pose, sending the hips towards the heels to open up that lumbar spine, the lower spine. It's our resting pose. So whenever you need to, you come to your child's pose. Anytime during the practice, if you want to do this, this is available to you. Let's come back up to tabletop. So remember, whenever you go, so place your block to the side. We're going to thread the needle. So we're back in tabletop. Let's bring the right arm out. Right arm parallel to the floor. You're looking, if you haven't done this before, watch me, because with thread the needle, what's important is when you bring that extended arm through or behind the straight arm bends, the face, if you want to use your block, the right side of the face comes down to the block or to the mat. Come back up, inhale, exhale slowly and gently as you thread the needle. Inhale, extend the arm out, and then you exhale slowly as you thread the needle. Feel the upper back open up. Inhale, beautiful, and then you exhale slowly as you thread the needle. And one last time, inhale, beautiful folks, and you exhale slowly. And then come back to tabletop. Beautiful. Let's just gently stand on our knees. Let's rotate the wrist again just to give our wrist a break. And what yoga does, it also strengthens the wrist. So it's like, oh yeah, my wrist doesn't feel strong. Over time, as you continue to do yoga, it strengthens the wrist. Come back, hands nice and wide open. We do our thread the needle the opposite side, extend the left arm out. Yes, and then slowly exhale as you thread the needle. Bring the side of the face, yes, to the mat. Inhale, slowly extend that arm. And then slowly exhale, thread the needle. Inhale. And then we exhale, thread the needle. Inhale. And then activate that gut, exhale. One last time, we inhale. And then we exhale and thread the needle. And then we come back to center and then go back to child's pose. Go back to child's pose. Beautiful. Send those hips back. Get that forehead either onto a block or onto the mat. And you're breathing in child's pose. Relaxing the body. Beautiful. And then from here, let's come back to tabletop and let's extend our mat. So you may just want to put your cushion to the side, not too far away. And while we're here, we're going into our forearm. So this is puppy pose. So in puppy pose, you go from tabletop, your forearms come onto the mat. And basically we place our forehead or our third eye chakra onto the mat as we breathe normally. So like a puppy dog. And from here, we're gonna go from puppy dog and we're gonna do some upper body strength as well as core strength, which is we're going to do some forearm planks. So forearm planks, you're on your forearm. If you wish to do this, if you don't have to. You can just alternate between puppy dog and go back and hold puppy dog for about 5-6 seconds and then go back into child's pose. Otherwise, our hands, palms facing down. Let's extend the right leg out. And so when we extend the right leg out, our toes are flexed. If you have not done this, please watch. And then the next step is to bring the left leg out as well. So you're in your forearm plank. Forearm plank, you activate the core. You're pushing up against your forearms and your feet are flexed. Gently bring your knees to the mat and gently push yourselves back into child's pose. And the reason planks are good, they work your upper chest, your breast area, your pecs. They work your shoulders. They work your arms, as well as your core. So you suck that gut in. So again, yoga is about strengthening as well. So from child's pose, let's bring our body forward back into a puppy dog. The puppy dog is opening up our shoulder blades are coming together, opening up the heart. And then from here, again, our forearms are forward. We tuck the right toes under to extend that right leg. We tuck the left toes under and we try to keep it flat. We don't want our buttocks up in the air yet. We're here, we're pushing up with our forearms. Activate the core. Feel your legs tighten up. You're breathing. Bring the knees down gently. And let's push back into a child's pose. Feel those hips go further back towards the hips as those arms extend forward. Why is strength good? It's important even as we grow older, because if your body isn't strong, you lose balance. Stay on, and then let's move back to puppy dog. In our last forearm plank, let's extend the right leg. Again, we're on the toes. Let's extend the left leg. Activate the core. Push up with the forearms. Feel, yes. We're holding it for about 5 to 7 seconds. We slowly bring the knees down and we slowly come back to child's pose. When you come back to child's pose, see if you can bring your knees to meet in the center, if it's available to you. Let's walk the hands to the right side while you're in child's pose to stretch out the left side of the body, to stretch out the obliques, as well as the upper shoulder and upper arm and forearms, all the way to the fingertips. Walk the hands back to center and walk the hands to the left side, stretching out the right side of the body. You'll feel it from the right hip alongside the right side of the torso, your obliques, and your right shoulder, upper arm, forearms, to stretch out the muscles we just worked out in plank. Come back to center. And then let's come back to tabletop. Okay, let's take a seat. If I'm removing I dress in layers because when it gets warm, we have to start removing layers, yes? Wonderful. So, our blocks are near us. Get your tie or your strap. As you can see, I'm adjusting my sit bone. If you want, you can use your cushion or your blanket to just sit gently, just to lift you a little bit. or you can just sit straight on the mat. This is staff pose. Staff pose, what's most important in staff pose is that, again, the feet are pointed. It's a letter L. Imagine your letter L. So you're at a 90-degree angle between your thigh bone and your torso. Your feet are pointing forward. So your feet are not wide. They're the width of your hips. Your legs are the width of the hips. The feet are flexed with your toes pointing upward as best as possible. As you sit this way, you start to feel the stretch in your calf muscles. You feel the stretch in the back of the legs, the back of the knees. You may even feel it in your hamstrings. So that's why you're pushing through the heels in order to get that stretch in the back of the legs. In addition to that, your quadriceps, the front part of the thighs, activated. So your feet are flexed and you're pushing through the heel, each heel. And in doing so, your torso is not rounded here, your torso nice and tall. If you wish in staff, you can place your hands, fingers gently onto the floor, just to give you a little boost. So it's not your hands that's pushing you up, it's your activating your core that's keeping you up, and you're still feeling the stretch. So this is a very dynamic pose with the legs activated, your core activated, and you're breathing normally. In through the nose and out through the nose. Staff pose. And then release. Let's bend the right leg. So the left leg is still extended. Right sole can be against your inner left calf, or the right leg can be brought into against the inner left thigh. Still, torso facing forward. It's a half wide angle, bound wide angle. Left foot is still extended. If your tie is next to you, bend that left foot, put your tie around the base, the sole of the foot, as you look forward and you gently, you're not leaning over, you're just gently hinging at the hips as you lean gently forward. So this right leg is still bent. If you'd like, if it's too much of a bend, you put a block under it, because you don't want to hurt your inner thigh or your inner groin. That's why you have your tools next to you, so you don't have to get up, right? So you use what you need to use. And then you gently feel that little extra stretch in the back of the left leg, with your tie helping you to get closer, but not hurting yourself. And you're breathing. In Hatha Yoga, we try to hold the poses longer, up to 30 seconds, to give the body time to relax itself. And then let's release. Remove the tie gently. Extend that right leg, and let's do the opposite leg. The opposite leg, again, you're sitting up straight. That right leg is in front of you. It's not to the side, it's in front of you. Toes are pointing upward. The left sole can be against the right inner calf, or it could be up to the inner thigh. You're not pushing against your knees. Sitting up straight. If you'd like, you can bend the right leg to put your tie around that foot and adjust. And then you gently hinge at the hips. As you lean gently forward, you'll find the thigh activated on both legs, the bent leg and the extended leg. And feel the stretch along the back of that right leg, as well as your inner left leg also working. And then let's gently release. And let's bring both soles of the feet together for a bound wide angle, or it's also called cobbler's pose. The toes come together, little toes. Feel all toes talking to each other. So this is what your toes are doing. They're talking to each other. If you look at my hands, this is what your toes are doing. They're talking to each other. How often do your toes do that? And you're sitting up straight. Yes. Beautiful. And then from here, let's bring the hands to the outer part of the knees. Let's bring the knees together. And we're going to do half Lord of the Fish pose. Let's sit back again in staff. Let's bend the right leg. So as we bend the right leg now, the right leg is bent upward, knee is facing forward, and you can place your hands against your shin to help lift up your torso. And throughout this, everyone, we're breathing, yes? And we're keeping our head with the top of the head parallel to the ceiling. We're not leaning over, we're extending the torso upward. If it's available to you, you can cross that right leg over the left. It can, the right foot can be against the calf on the other side, or it can be against the left thigh as we sit up straight. So what we're doing now is we're starting to stretch our abductors on the right side as we sit up. So your hand, your left hand is below, it's not on the knee. You're not putting pressure on the knee. You're holding the right upper, that right part of the calf. And if it's available to you, you can raise the right arm as you're sitting up straight. Yes. And then if it's available, you bring that right arm slightly behind you, slightly, to give you that little extra lift. And as you're doing so, you're gently bringing that right leg towards the midline in order to feel that stretch along the right hip and the right outer thigh. Half Lord of the Fish pose. And you can look over that right shoulder gently. And slowly come back to center. Extend that right leg forward. Shake it out, shake out both legs. Start back in staff pose. Whatever we do on the right side, we do on the left. Again, torso is nicely elevated. Let's bend the left leg. Holding on to the shins of the left leg. Right leg still activated on the floor. If it's available to you, you cross that left foot over the right leg. And as you can see, as you cross that leg over, you may need to kind of bring that torso forward because we don't want to be, the torso's not facing sideways. The torso is facing forward. So you see, I'm taking my gut and moving it so that I'm facing forward with the right hand holding on to the left lower leg to start helping that left side stretch. As we sit with the torso elevated, and let's lift the left arm up. As we lift the left arm up, yes, our fingers are nicely extended as we continue to bring that left leg toward the midline. Torso elevated, nice. And then we bring that left arm down gently behind us. It could be along the side or gently behind us as it helps us lift our torso upward Feeling that stretch from your left hip along that left outer thigh, those abductor muscles and the gluteus muscles. And then you may look over your left shoulder gently if it's available to you by turning your torso. You lift at the torso and then you turn and feeling a little twist. Yes, nice, nice. Still bringing that left leg towards the midline and still keeping that right leg activated. Come back to center. Release the left leg. Let's shake both out. And let's go back to the bound wide angle or cobbler's pose. Again, by bringing the toes together, soles of the feet together, and sitting up. Nice. And then let's again, whenever you come out of bound wide angle, it's always recommended bring your hands to the outer part of the knees to help them come upward. So from here, let's go onto our backs for a couple of other poses to continue to stretch out the glutes. So as you come onto your back, you see what I've done is, so you can keep both soles of the feet onto the mat, or if it's available to you, you're at 90 degrees, so 90-90. What's 90-90? So your torso, your back is on the mat, you're bent at 90 degrees between your thigh bone and your torso, and then you're bent at 90 degrees between your upper leg and your lower leg. Oh yes, and your feet are flexed. So it's 90, 90, 90. Beautiful. I like what I'm seeing. And for this, adjust the back of your head so it's not crunching the back of your neck. So from here, let's bring our hands to the back of our thighs. Let's extend the right leg up. So the left leg is still at a 90. And as you bring the right leg up, you're feeling that stretch. You're pushing through the heel because your toes, look at your toes, everyone. Your toes are not pointing to the side. Your toes are, adjust your legs so your toes are pointing towards your face. And you feel that stretch in the back of the leg. And then we bend the right leg and we extend the left leg. If you wish, you can use your tie. So bend that left leg, and then you can use that tie to give you a little extra lift so you feel the stretch, and then you bend the left leg, and while your right leg is bent, you can put the tie around the right foot and extend that. Or you may choose not to use the tie at all. It's up to you. And then we alternate. So we hold the bend and the extension for 5 slow seconds for each side, feeling that stretch along the back of the leg. And then we bend and extend the other one, and your toes are pointing towards your face. You're working your quads, you're working the back of the legs as well. And then we extend again. Why is extending the hamstring so important, everyone, and taking your time? Because if we, opposite side, if we sit a lot, the hamstrings shorten. So this is what helps lengthen the hamstrings. And then one more time, extend the opposite side. I like what I'm seeing. Feel the stretch. To feel the stretch, you have to push against that heel of the extended leg. And then bend, and then let's release the wind by bringing both bent knees towards the breastbone to stretch out the lumbar spine, and release. Bring the knees again close to the breastbone and release. Bring the knees again close to the breastbone. And while you're here, what you might do is, if it's available, you grab your calves, open up those legs while the knees are still bent. We're going into dead bug pose, yes. And if it's available, grab your ankles. Your back is still on the mat. The back of the head is still on the mat. Those knees are bent at 90 degrees. And the soles of the feet facing the ceiling. Dead bug cockroach pose. Bring the knees together, slowly lower the legs onto the mat. So here, again, our soles of the feet on the mat. Let's take the right leg bended with the right ankle onto the left thigh. You can stay here, or we're gonna go into our reclining pigeon. Bring that left leg up. So the left leg is bent at 90. The right leg is bent at 90 for 90-90. The back of the head onto the mat. And as you bring the left leg, so again, the right ankle is on the left thigh. And as you bring that left leg closer to the torso, gently, you're feeling the stretch in that right hip. We're working that right hip, loosening up the gluteus muscles, the sciatic nerve. If it's available, right hand goes through the hole, left hand goes around the left thigh, grab the back of the left thigh, and really bring that left thigh in gently and feel the stretch in that right hip. So this is pigeon in a reclining position, relaxing those or stretching out the gluteus muscles and the sciatic nerve. Gently release the thighs, gently bring that left leg down, bring the right leg down, cross over to the other side, because what we do on one side, we have to do the other side. So you can stay here at 90-90 with the right foot on the ground, or you can choose to bring that right leg up, still at 90, left leg at 90, feet are flexed. You start feeling that little stretch in the left hip, keeping your core and the back of your head grounded onto the floor. Left hand, if it's available, goes through that hole. Letter 4, the right hand around the right thigh. They meet in the back of the right thigh. If available, you gently bring the right thigh towards the torso, slow and gentle. You just want to feel a little stretch in that left hip as you breathe. In through the nose, out through the nose. Releasing that tension in the hips. As they say, where do we carry most of our tension? In the shoulders and in the hips, which is why we did undulations, why we're doing these 90-90 poses. And we gently release the right foot onto the mat, uncross the left leg, and then again, let's go back to our release the wind. Release the wind. You know, for me, when I do it, my left hip is always the challenge. I hear a little click, but it's a good click. You don't want to hear a bad click, right? And then I release and bring it back in again. And we're going to do one more. And if you're comfortable doing this, you can. Otherwise, just stay here. If your block is near you, place your feet. We're going to do leg up the wall, simulate it. Bring your soles of the feet. If you've not done this before, please watch, and maybe you'll do it next time. So you lift, your block is in your hand. You lift your hips gently, as if you were doing bridge, and you insert the block under the hips. Not everyone likes this because they find that it's uncomfortable. So don't do it if it's not comfortable for you. You can stay here. Otherwise, you bring the legs together inward, not too far. This again, it's a 90 move. And then you extend one leg up and you extend the other leg up. And this is a simulated leg up the wall. Adjust your back, make sure you're feeling comfortable. If you're feeling wheezy or it's not comfortable, to come out of this and your time, you always bend the knees first, bring the feet down, then you lift the hips and remove the block. Very important on how you come down. This is an inversion, sending the blood from the feet towards the heart. So when they talk about inversions in yoga, you don't necessarily have to stand on your head or stand on your hands. You can if you wish, but this is a semi-inversion by moving the blood from the feet down towards the heart. It's also a great way to help you fall asleep at night. And let's gently bend the knees. Let's gently bring the feet onto the soles of the feet onto the mat. Make sure your feet are on the mat. Lift the hips gently, as if a bridge pose. Gently grab your block, move the block out of the way. And then let's do one more, release the wind. Oh, yes. And let's rotate those hips slowly in one direction onto the mat. Yes, releasing that whole pelvic area. And let's slowly circle in the opposite direction. Slowly, yes. Nice massage of the lower back. And then let's get ready for Savasana. Savasana is dead man's pose. If your socks are nearby, you can put your socks back on to keep your feet warm. If they're not, don't worry about it. If your blanket is nearby, you can use your blanket and just throw that against the lower part or upper part of the body. If not, don't worry about it. Maybe next time you'll have it. I like to put either blocks under my thighs, so if you'll look to see what I do, or my foam roller to just give me a little extra lift on the thighs to allow the lower back to sink into the ground. And basically, we let everything go in Savasana. Our hands are to our side. Back of the head adjusted so that the back of the neck isn't crunched. Close your eyes. Feel free to use your eye pillow if you have it, or your washcloth to place over your eyes. Breathing normally in through the nose and out through the nose. Releasing your facial muscles. Scanning to your shoulders, relaxing your shoulders. Shoulder blades sinking into the mat. Relaxing the hips. fingers, thighs, and feet and toes. Let's gently start to come out of Savasana by wiggling our toes and our fingers slowly and gently as we start to reawaken the body. Gently remove your eye covering if you have one. Let's bend our knees, bend our legs at the knees, and gently remove the blocks or whatever you have under your knees to the side, gently pushing them to the side. And then bringing your knees towards your torso, as in releasing the wind, and let's gently circle the lower back. Gently and slowly circle the lower back onto the mat to reawaken that lumbar spine, nice and slow. And let's circle in the opposite direction. And let's place both feet onto the mat and let's turn to the right side in a fetal position with legs bent at the knees. And let's gently push ourselves up into a seated position with our legs crossed, whichever is most comfortable for you. Torso slightly elevated. Hands onto our thighs with palms facing upward. Let's extend the arms out, east-west arms. Palms facing upward. Bringing the hands together overhead into prayer hands. Bring the prayer hands to the forehead. In the spirit of peace, wishing you peaceful thoughts. Prayer hands to the lips, wishing you peaceful words. Prayer hands to the heart center, wishing you a peaceful heart. And with that, we close with namaste.